few months ago, I was invited to come and train PWDs, people living with disabilities. And I waived my normal protocols and normal fees for speaking as a guest speaker, speaking as a guest speaker. I was excited to go there because there are people in my community, myself being a person living with disability too. When I go there, I told them it was organized by a federal ministry for the people living with disability working in that agency or rather that ministry. So when I got there, I told them I am not here. When I was introduced, I told them I'm not here like one big consultant or whatever. If I was coming on that grounds, I wouldn't have accepted to come. I am here because I'm one of you, so that we can discuss. I can show you what I passed through probably when I was at your own levels, and then I'll be able to show you how I conquered those discomforts, those challenges, and probably came to where I am today. So a lady, got so offended. She was in front. She raised her hands and said, "You don't know, Jack, what we are passing through. In other words, you're one big man up there. You don't understand what we're passing through. We are not like you. You are not like us." I just laughed. And I said, "Can you allow me to go through? And when, at the end of the day, you find out if we share the same community, the same relationship, the same challenge." Now, for her, she thinks that her problem is bigger than everyone's problem because she walked with her two legs, became an adult. I think somewhere not more than 5-6 years ago, she had an accident and her spinal cord injury, and then she couldn't walk again. But we had poliomyelitis when we were just about a year or two. We, walked on all fours. We are the people who crawled, our legs turned topsy-turvy. We went through several orthopedic surgeries to strengthen our leg. Up to today, we wear crutches, which we hold in our hands, and we wear calipers on our legs. And, as I'm talking to you, I'm wearing rod on my two legs to be able to, sit well or, stand and talk. Now, the point is, she thought her challenge is exceptional. Though at the end of the training, she now confessed. She cried and apologized to me and said she thought she was different, but she has now seen that, we are all passing through the same thing. Because I told them how I conquered imposter syndrome, how I conquered, poverty mentality, how I changed my mindset, how I conquered victim mentality, and then how I conquered how people look at me and built the confidence that brought me to where I am. So she saw all those and she agreed. So the point is, you believed your struggle was yours alone. You believe that your gifts, rare and singular, only you have your gifts. You believe your situation is too unique for anyone else to know what you are actually passing through. Your path is so different that the proven road others have traveled simply couldn't work for you. But what if that your belief? What if this thing you think that is your unique situation, what if it is the only thing isolating you from the help, from the community, from the proven strategies that you can use to help yourself? What if, yes, that you are putting yourself away from help that could come your way? Now, this is called False Uniqueness Effect. False Uniqueness Effect. False Uniqueness Effect is bias number 44 in our 225 plus bias series. My name is Dr. Carly Cussons, Africa's high performance thinking and strategic execution expert. Now, what is false uniqueness effect? This is a bias, yeah, that is has the tendency to make you underestimate how many other people share your abilities, share your values, share your challenges, share your experiences, and how many other people share your own circumstances. So you believe that your positive qualities or your specific challenges, or you believe that your particular situation are far more rare and distinctive than they actually are. So it is in many ways the precise complement of the false consensus effect we covered yesterday. Now, while false consensus effect causes you to assume that everyone, think like you, yeah, everyone thinks like you. That's false consensus effect. The false uniqueness effect causes you to assume nobody else has been through what you are going through. So where false consensus overestimates similarity, false uniqueness overestimates differences, and it operates in two distinct and equally two costly directions. Direction number one is that you have positive false consensus, or rather positive false uniqueness. Now, positive false uniqueness is my abilities, my vision, my rare insights, my insights, my hindsights, my foresight. They are rare. My skills, they are rare in a way that most people cannot appreciate or replicate. They can't understand what I'm saying. I'm far ahead of everyone. Now, this inflates ego. This creates isolation and produces resistance to learning, resistance from mentorship, yeah, resistance from invaluable thought and wisdom that you could leverage. Now, direction number two is that, this false uniqueness has negative false uniqueness. You now believe that my struggles, my failures, my challenges, my circumstances are uniquely difficult. No other person is passing what I'm passing through, like you saw in my lady who accosted me in the training. So they're so specific to my situation that nobody else could possibly understand or offer relevant, guidance. Now, this generates shame, prevents help seeking, and cuts you off from communities, mentors, and proven solutions and frameworks that exist precisely because your situation is far more common than you believe. Both directions, however different they feel, produce the same outcome: isolation from the resources that you can leverage, from the relationships you can leverage, from the wisdom that your actual situation can leverage. Yeah, because they're already existing. So now there are a lot of this happening in businesses, a lot of this happening in our relationships, and let's look at them. So a consultant has developed what he believes is genuinely a revolutionary approach and methodology and transformational approach to organizational engineering. So his methodology feels completely original to him. The way he thinks about problem feels like no other person has ever done that before. Yeah. He resists joining professional groups. He resists joining associations. They won't understand my approach. It's too different from conventional thinking. He declines mentorship from those who could have helped him, from experienced practitioners. My model doesn't fit the traditional frameworks they operate in this industry. Yeah. He avoids studying competitors. We're not really in the same space and category. What they do doesn't apply to what I do. Now he starts building in isolation. He's certain that his uniqueness, he's certain that his particularity requires a completely self-generated path, self-generated, methodology and way. But what he doesn't know is that his false uniqueness effect is protecting him from uncovering, from discovering that there are, in his circle alone, more than 3 practitioners in adjacent fields who have developed remarkably similar methodologies through different intellectual journeys. He may not have gone through his own journey. One of them has already made the implementation mistakes he's about to make, and if he had asked, he would have gotten the mentorship. The guy has documented precisely how to avoid these mistakes and ready to even offer them for free. One of them also has cracked the client acquisition challenge that he's also encountering, that he's also currently struggling with, and has built a replicable system for it, something you can just plug and play. One of them has the exact strategic partnership this guy needs now, and would have been open to collaboration if you had wanted, if you had asked. Okay? But the point is that false uniqueness convinced him that his path was singular, specific, particular, different, and unique, when in reality it was parallel to several others who had already cleared the obstacles ahead, who had already, seen everything. So he spent all the months and years reinventing the wheels. These wheels that were already spinning smoothly in the next lane, in the next door, in his friend's office. His false uniqueness effect told him that he's different, these things do not exist, but they do. Now, on the other side, the business owner is struggling with cash flow challenges. He has problem with team retention. He has problem with, strategic execution, strategic direction. She's overwhelmed. Yeah? She doesn't seek a mentor. She believes her own is different. She refuses to join peer groups. She doesn't reach out to business coaches. My business is too specific. My industry is too niched. My circumstances are too particular. Nobody's doing what I'm doing. No one else would understand. What she doesn't realize is this. Cash flow challenges, team retention difficulties, and strategic confusion are among the most universal experiences you can encounter in entrepreneurship. It's been documented, studied, and solved across thousands of contests, with frameworks, with communities, with mentors specifically equipped to help you solve those problems. Her false uniqueness has prevented her from getting the right advice. It didn't prevent her from getting irrelevant advice, because there's no relevant advice that was available. Everything was relevant, but she convinced herself those things do not exist. It happens in relationship. A young man is battling a private shame, a behavioral pattern, a past failure, a personal struggle that he has carried alone for years, thinking no other person. Yes, he has not spoken about it to anybody, not to a therapist, not to a trusted friend, not to support community, because in his mind, no other person deals with this, no other person. Yeah, he thought if people knew it, they would laugh at him. If people knew it, they would see him as uniquely broken. Yeah, this is my particular burden. This is my cross. Yeah, it's too specific, too shameful. This is actually too unusual to share. But what he doesn't know is that false uniqueness has sealed the information out from him. Millions of people carry the same pattern. Millions of people carry the same challenge, the same behavior, the same failure, the same struggle, the same circumstance. That communities exist everywhere, built entirely by people who share exactly the same experience. That therapists who specialize in exactly this challenge exist everywhere. That the shame he carries in isolation will dissolve overnight. Yeah? But genuinely and permanently, if he can only open up, the warmth of the community has been waiting for him to help him discover that this is not a prison he should live inside. The truth of his commonality and the commonality of his problem is he's opening up, but he doesn't know. It happens in romantic relationships. You can see couples who will tell you that we are irreconcilably different. Why we are not going to live together, why we're divorcing, that you have irreconcilable differences. This is what we call false uniqueness. This shows up when couples, facing difficulty, conclude that their specific combination of challenges is so unusual that no counselor, no book, no framework, no community could possibly understand their dynamic well enough to help them. Because as far as they're concerned, our relationship is complicated in ways that couples therapy just can't address. That we're irreconcilably different. We need to go our ways. Because our cultural background, because our history, the courses we read in the university, our specific issues are too peculiar. We've never had it before. And so they move around it, trying to wade through it. Two people drowning in shallow waters, but they are convinced that the lifeguard's techniques can never save them because their own drowning is different from other kinds of drowning. You can already say. Let's talk about the fixes. Now, there are three moves that will be so immediately liberating for you. Those three moves I want to introduce you to right now. Number one is actively seek evidence of your commonality before concluding you are uniquely positioned, in a way that only you suffice what you go through. Only you have the skills you have. Only you have discovered the opportunity you have seen. Whether you are facing a business challenge, whether you are facing a personal struggle, a strategic question, or relational difficulties. Now, before concluding that your situation is too unique for existing wisdom to apply to it, it's very important that you conduct a deliberate search for others who have faced structurally similar situations. It may not be 100% the same, but you see that the structures are the same. Search industry communities, look for case studies, look for mentors, look for business books written by practitioners who built what you are already building. There's nothing you're going to be doing that is so unique that no other person has ever thought, or nothing has been done about it. Seek out support groups and seek out, peer communities. They work. Now, it's very important you are careful what you seek out anyways. Now, you will almost always discover not that your situation is identical to others, but that it is similar enough for their hard-won wisdom to deeply apply and be relevant to your case. The 20% that is genuinely unique to your situation does not invalidate the 80% where existing knowledge applies directly and where you have similarities. It cannot, it cannot destroy that. Stop letting the 20% of difference blind you to the 80% of available wisdom. Now, number two, join communities of peers and show up with genuine vulnerability. The antidote to false uniqueness effect in business is peer community. Masterminds, industry associations, professional peer groups, your mentorship relationships and coaching programs. Business networks built around genuine knowledge exchange can help you become an antidote to what you're passing through. The antidote to false uniqueness in personal life is genuine connection, openness, vulnerability, genuine connection with friends, therapists, support communities, or mentors who create the safety for honest self-disclosure, honest self-expression. So in both contexts, the moment you speak your supposedly unique struggle out loud in the presence of people who understand what you're passing through, and someone across the table tells you, I went through exactly this few years ago, here's what I did, here's what I learned, the false uniqueness dissolves immediately, dissolves instantly. And in its place, you would now see that you have relief, the belonging, and the practical wisdom that isolation was keeping just out of your reach. Very important. Number 3, distinguish between uniqueness of identity and uniqueness of challenge. This is the nuanced and the most important distinction that resolves the tension at the heart of this bias. You are unique, 100%. Your combination of experiences, perspective, your gifts, your challenges, your skills, your story is uniquely singular and is uniquely yours. No one has lived exactly your life or built exactly your path. Now, but your challenges almost certainly are not unique to you. Cash flow problems are not unique to you. Relationship issues are not unique to you. Relationship communication are not unique for you. Relationship communication breakdown are not unique to only you. Imposter syndrome are not unique to only you. Fear of failure is not unique to only you. Feeling unseen in a relationship is not unique to only you. Struggling to scale your business past a certain revenue or operational limits or geographical limits, it's not unique to you. But you bring a unique self to your challenges. That yourself, that your identity is profoundly uncommon, but the challenges are profoundly common. And that distinction matters so important, matters so much that without it, you won't be able to understand that you are shooting yourself on the leg. Because it means you can seek proven solutions to common challenges and apply them through the filter of your unique perspective without surrendering either your individuality or your access to collective wisdom. Your uniqueness is your voice, but commonality is your library. You need to use both of them. Now let's close by actually saying that false uniqueness effect has been costing you so much in the quiet, invisible, untracked currency of opportunities that you've missed and burdens you've carried alone. Every mentor you didn't seek because you thought your path was too unique and different. Every community you didn't join because you thought that your struggle was so specific. Every framework you dismissed because you thought your experience was too unusual for any framework to work on them. Behind each of these uncrossed thresholds was someone who had already walked your road, someone who have cut the journey short for you, someone who had already made your mistake and recovered from it, someone who had already solved the puzzle you are currently staring at and struggling with, someone who had already carried your burden, someone who had set that burden down and was waiting with the map for another person like you who will finally come along and he will pay it forward. You were never as alone as false uniqueness effect told you. Your challenges were never as unprecedented as isolation made you feel. Your path was never as uncharted as pride suggested to you. The most extraordinary thing about human experience is this. The thing that false uniqueness works hardest to hide from you is how profoundly, how consistently and beautifully common our deepest struggles and our highest gifts actually are. They are common to everyone because we are common in our humanity. We are about 8 billion or so plus people on earth. We are all going through the same fears, but we are wearing different costumes. Yeah? Building the same dreams on different continents. We are all loving the same way in different languages, failing the same way in different industries and sectors, and recovering the same way through connection, or through community, or through the radical discovery and radical understanding that someone else has been exactly where we were and where we are. Find your people, learn from their path, carry less burden alone, build faster, build together. Don't allow false uniqueness cage you and make you build apart. This is bias number 44 in our 224 plus bias series. Your path is yours. The wisdom for it already exists. Go find it. I want you to share this with every entrepreneur, leader, every person carrying something alone that a community could help them carry, or a book somewhere has solved. Try and be able to understand this. The question I always ask you at the end of each session is this: when was the last time you fed the mind that makes the money? Click the link below